So in the late 2000s, mid to late 2000s, I lived and worked in New York City as a lawyer, Gonzalo said, on Wall Street. And as you might expect, it was a very busy time, right? 80, 100-hour weeks, working all the weekends, right? Totally unsustainable. And so what would happen is that like once a month, a friend of mine, let's call her Kagan, she and I would go out to dinner at some posh restaurant, and we would eat and drink and complain about our life until they kicked us out. Right? It was like a month of indulgence in one dinner. Yes, I am very embarrassed now about how sorry we felt about ourselves in that circumstance, but bear with me. An important piece of context for the story is that something you might not know about me is that I have a very serious amateur interest in etiquette, or manners, what are sometimes called the social graces. Yeah? So what this means is that when you go to lunch and you see 4 forks at the dinner table and you get a little bit nervous, I feel like all is right in the world, right? The royal wedding is my Super Bowl, okay? It also means that I buy and read books about etiquette, and I brought 2 examples for you here tonight. The first is a classic, Emily Post's Guide to Etiquette, right? This is actually my father's copy. And I also have more esoteric volumes like How to Talk with Practically Anyone About Practically Anything by Barbara Walters. Yeah, it's a real book. Now, I always thought that etiquette is an example of something that is like universally acknowledged as being good, right? It's basically about politeness, and who doesn't like politeness, right? In fact, etiquette or manners is a political minefield, all right? And what it's actually an example of is how what you think about something is not at all informative of what some other person thinks about that thing, yeah? In fact, the only way to know what someone is thinking is to ask them, yeah? Let me show you what happens when you don't do that. So back to dinner, back to New York City. Kagan and I are at one of these nice restaurants. And actually, another little fun fact, you, like me, perhaps always thought that seating at a nice restaurant is basically arbitrary, right? You need to have a reservation, but then when you get there, they just kind of put you wherever, right? Yeah, this is not true at all. It turns out that seating at a nice restaurant is more like valet parking at a casino in Las Vegas. All right, you know how they put all the really nice cars out front, like the Lamborghinis and the Rolls Royce, and all the regular cars in the back? So seating at a nice restaurant turns out to be kind of like this. They put all the beautiful people out front in the windows and all the regular people not in the window. Yeah, and I learned this dining with Kagan, who is an intelligent, beautiful woman inside and out. And one day I showed up a little bit early for our reservation, and I was duly sat in the regular person section. And then Kagan showed up, and they just moved us to a better table. It was my first time sitting with the Lamborghinis. It was amazing. So there we are at our posh table, right? And it's a small restaurant, and so the tables are quite close together, kind of like how you're sitting here this evening. And so it quickly becomes clear that the people sitting beside us, the couple, is on a date, a first date, and that date is not going well. And the reason it's not going well is that they're talking about politics, which is such a high-risk gambit on a first date. To be fair, whoever set this couple up really should have known better, because they were like comically mismatched. Let me paint a picture for you, all right? On the one side, you have this woman, right? Just radiating competence and achievement, right? She's wearing this beautiful red dress, a pearl necklace that was not a gift, right? Oh, takes a minute, yeah. 100% her favorite movie is The Devil Wears Prada, okay? This person. And she is sitting opposite the early John Mayer. Yeah, his shirt is untucked, his trousers are made of denim. He's wearing sneakers. And of course, you know, they're talking about politics, and this woman, of course, has conservative political views, and she is just bludgeoning this man and his feeble, liberal counterattack. It was like watching like a spider get its legs torn off by a really well-dressed child. Yeah. So anyway, so the dinner continues, right? And we watch this carnage happen. And my heart is going out to this man, right? Like, he doesn't understand why the date isn't going well. He just wants to have a good time. And I want to help him. And then it occurs to me, I know, etiquette will save this man, obviously, right? So in due course, the woman gets up to go to the bathroom, and I lean over to the man, right? Kagan starts kicking me under the table, right? I ignore her, right? I lean over to the man and I say, when she comes back, you should stand up, which is such a pro-etiquette move, standing up when your date goes and leaves the table. You should all be writing this down, all the gentlemen in the room. And it takes a few minutes for that to land right, because I'm a stranger talking to this guy. But then he gets it, and his chest inflates. He gets his second wind. Yeah! Oh, I'm going to do that. Thank you. I'm so pumped. And I'm just, yes, you do it. I sit back. I look at Kagan. She's not looking at me at all, shaking her head. I ignore her negative energy, and I feel great about myself. Yeah. So, in due course, the woman comes back from the bathroom, and my guy stands up like a champ. And at first, the woman is confused. She's like, whoa, why are you standing? And he doesn't miss a beat, right? He's like, because you're here. What a victory, this guy, right? Boy, did I pick the right guy. And then the woman says, no, it's okay. I already paid the bill. Yeah, so what had happened was the date was going so poorly that she pretended to go to the bathroom so that she could pay the entire check and they could just leave and get it over with. Which is a hard enough pill to swallow when you're sitting down. But now, thanks to me, this guy's standing up in the middle of the restaurant. And his face deflates, he doubles, he's stuttering. I, of course, do nothing to come to his defense. I just eat my dinner, nothing to see here. It's very uncomfortable. They leave eventually. And I look up over at Kagan when it's safe, and she's staring at me like I'm this delinquent child. And she says, how did you not see that coming? Yeah.